Today I am here visiting my friends at DC Pianos in Berkeley, California, and today I have a very interesting upright piano. And this is one of the most interesting upright piano cases that I have ever seen because it takes a lot of elements from a normal grand piano. And one of those is the lyre. If we take a look here, we actually have a normal lyre, but in an upright piano, and I've never seen this before. And what's also interesting is that the mechanism has a very complex mechanism up here, and if you look, the mechanism, when you move the pedals, it comes up and then goes to the left, and then like all these pipes and stuff go over, and somehow that actually makes the internal action mechanisms move. So it's a very strange mechanism that they used to get around the idea of having an actual lyre, which I think is rather strange because it's a lot simpler to have a normal mechanism where the pedals attach to the bottom of the piano, and then inside you have this mechanism called a trap. It's a lot simpler. There's just levers and dowels that make the action parts move. This seems like it's a lot more complicated, but this company decided that this would look cool and that they wanted to do it on the piano. We can also see the wood down here is really pretty as well. The finish is very nice, and it has a very nice color to it. It's kind of like an orangey brown in certain spots, and I kind of like it. It's pretty neat. So here's something else that's really interesting about this piano, and that is the back leg right back here. As you can see, that's what it is. There's a back leg on the back of the case of the piano, which I've only seen in one other upright piano before, and it's a very strange design feature. Perhaps at one point in history this was a rather popular thing to do, but I find it kind of interesting that there's a second unnecessary leg back there simply for aesthetic purposes. It even has a caster and it helps support the piano, but most upright pianos do not have an additional leg back there, so I think that's kind of interesting. Both of the legs, the front and the back, have some neat carvings to them as well, as you can see, and they have a very nice curved shape to them. However, this piano's unusual features do not stop here, because once we come to the actual piano itself and not just look at the case, but the lid and stuff of the piano, it starts to get even more interesting. So the fall board here is pretty standard, but it's also rather big, and it definitely reminds me of the fall board of a grand piano, although it's really tall. Look how tall the fall board is. It's very unusual. And it also kind of has a little click mechanism. It's like, it just clicks into place here. Hear that? And then when you pull it out, makes a little snapping sound because there's a little mechanism that actually keeps it in place, which is kind of interesting. The name brand here is Kohler and Chase, not Kohler and Campbell, which is a more commonly seen brand, but Kohler and Chase, which is kind of interesting. We have this cool wood here that has a really neat design that really catches the light, and that is actually very pretty looking. So the fallboard here is pretty cool, but the lid here gets even more interesting. Normally on a upright piano, the lid simply opens up. Usually the lid opens from the top and you can access the inside of the piano, or in some pianos it opens up from the side like a grand action does. But this is much more complicated, and it's reminiscent of a grand piano's lid. For example, here's a grand piano right here. You have two parts on the lid. You have this part that covers up the music desk when it's closed, and then when you want to open the piano, you fold this back and open up the lid. Now this piano I don't think has a grand opening lid, but it does have this kind of a folding part. This folds back. It even has a little part here that on a grand piano is always like this, but this one folds over. And then to open the music desk, you slide this forward like on a grand piano, and then you open this up, which has a really cool, like a sunrise kind of look to it. And then there's a little rod in the back that you set into place, and then you can push this back. And that is how you open up the music desk on this piano. It's very, very interesting, and I've never seen anything like that before. Again, the music desk has a really cool design. It's got this really neat wood that's used over here. I want to say that's like burl or something, but I don't really know. It looks really cool. And then it has that neat sunrise design on that. So that's kind of cool. I'm sure that somehow the lid of this piano opens. It doesn't seem to be a grand opening lid because there's no hinges on either side of it. There are hinges in the back, but when I try to lift it up, it doesn't really want to lift. So I'm just going to leave it be, and I'm not going to show you the inside of the piano because I don't want to break it. But I just wanted to show you the case of this piano because it's so interesting. So right now you're probably wondering what this piano actually sounds like. So I'm going to play an old hymn that was harmonized by Bach, and hopefully you guys enjoy it on this Kohler and Chase piano with the very interesting case design. So that is what this Kohler and Chase piano sounds like. It's a really, really cool piano with a really, really unusual case design. Let me know if you've ever seen a piano that has a case like this, particularly an upright piano with a lyre like this, because I have never ever seen that. The more traditional design for a upright piano is like the one perhaps right over here, where the pedals stick directly out of the bottom of the piano, and there's a very simple internal mechanism that moves the action parts, as opposed to this very unusual external lyre with the semi-exposed mechanisms and linkages up top that I have never ever seen before. So once again, let me know if you've ever seen anything like that, and also let me know what you thought of the piano. I think the wood that's used in it is actually really, really pretty. So if you want, you can go check out my channel. I've got lots of reviews from this store as well as many other stores, and I've got videos on pianos as well as other keyboard instruments like clavichords and organs and harpsichords and really cool musical instruments. So if you want to go check that out, you can. If you want to subscribe, thank you very much. And if you do subscribe, make sure to hit the notification bell to be informed of all of my future uploads. So again, make sure to hit subscribe, and if you do that, thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.